Hello, my dear sea stars and bro stars. I'm really thankful for all your comments and subscriptions and so forth from my previous video and the positive comments. I'm really, really grateful for that. It's extremely motivating when we have this kind of sisterly and brotherly interactions. This is something that's wonderful for all of us. You all know it. And so, namaste, everybody. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for staying in the light. Thank you for aspiring to be in the light, to become the light beacons. And thank you. I just wanted to make a real quick video to share this information which you all know, but actually it helps to hear it maybe one more time, because we tend to forget a lot, and actually that's maybe the real point. Nowadays our information, be it sciences with mathematics and physics and psychology and honestly all the sciences, or esoteric sciences, or it's all coming together to make a wonderful picture of wow, guys, I mean, humanity at last is kind of having a grasp of what reality is. What is amazing. I mean, people before us didn't even have the luxury to ask that question. And we are not only asking that question, we are also getting answers. And the answers are mind-blowing. It's amazing. I mean, okay, you all know it. This is the thing. As we know about hows and whys and all of it, our minds start to build up, as our minds are meant to, a script, a scenario, practically simulation, I would like to say, because our minds create this world which, as you all know, gets reflected to the as reality outside. Anyway, the point is, our minds are perfect scenario creators, perfect ambience scripters. So when we know all of these things about ascension, when we know all of these things about physics and mathematics and how it's the sacred geometry and all of those things, we may fall into the trap of simulating this our path of ascension. And we may play it out as though we are ascending, and our minds will create the perfect scenario, making it like tack, 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 tack. It just moves from, it moves with the known parameters. It will create these steps and the images, the feelings, and so on and so forth. When we are in our meditations and when we are in our spiritual practices, we may go through some really deep experiences, and I don't have anything to say about those things as though they are wrong or something like that. I'm not saying that they are wrong. All I am saying is that as we all go through, after we get off our meditation cushion, when we start interacting with the people, so on and so forth, everything starts falling back to 3D again, and we may get triggered, we may get lost, we may get disconnected. I don't think I'm alone here. So what happens is that when we get disconnected, we are not as a whole person ascending. We say that when we are in 3D, it's extremely normal that we completely fall into 3D. Yes, it is normal. But when we ascend, there's a qualitative change. Now, as you have, I'm pretty sure all of you have experienced a moment or two where you had that experience. Like, it happened to me once. I was walking and talking with a friend, and for 1 minute, it was like I was completely in the now, I was completely aware of every conversation that was going on, and my words and so forth, and it was like it was 5D and 3D completely integrated. And this is the ultimate, in my opinion, the ultimate experience that we are seeking to have when we are in our world platform, 3D platform. And if we persist, okay, this is the point. Now, this experience doesn't come by force. This is what I got inspired to say. I got an 11, yay! Okay, let's see. To me, honestly, I feel like I'm just babbling, so because everybody knows. But I also know that even if, like, when I'm listening and reading, I may know what the person is talking about, but I need to hear it. So bear with me, guys. Sorry. Now, having had some experiences or having had no experiences, it doesn't really matter. Whether we had experiences or whether we had or not, it doesn't really matter. We all are trying to ascend, to become our true selves, which is light and love and divine life with joy, divine joy and wisdom in action. Anyway, when we are trying and trying and trying and trying, it is good that we are assimilating all this information of the sciences and the esoteric sciences and the spirituality and all of it. We are integrating and we are building this experience ourselves. We are carving ourselves, we are raising ourselves to become what the final outcome will become. So it is good for us because this process is extremely needed to expand our minds, because our minds are the real problem, that because it's getting kind of in a closed circuit, in a loop, and it's not allowing us to expand. So we need to it's good for our minds. It's for example, when we start watching what we eat, how we exercise and so forth, it's good for our bodies, and it's good for our social relationships when we start watching our actions and how we are staying in the 3D and so forth. But the point is, when we are forcing like, I'm gonna ascend, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, we are really pushing it maybe too far. And when we push, there is that every time that we fail from that ideal, there is that frustration that kind of puts a notch. And then every time, and more frustration, more frustration, more frustration, which finally turns inwards, and we start having a lot of issues with depression and hopelessness and fear, doubt, disbelief, like the Matrix. The forcing of ascension only leads to its simulation. We simulate, when we are in our meditations, we simulate how our light body becomes, how we are going to ascend, how it's 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 7-dimensional, whatever. We start imagining these things. It is good to push us, okay, but it is not good when we are forcing it. Because please remember, this whole process is natural, okay? It's a natural thing. Even if we didn't know all of these information, we would still ascend, because there has been, millions of people who ascended before us. All the prophets, all the saints, all of them, they didn't know quantum physics. They didn't know all these psychological aspects of us, but they dove into themselves as psychonauts, and they lived it. So, and like the pineal gland, the pineal gland will open up only when it's ready. We can listen to the music that will open up the pineal gland as much as we want to. We can do meditations to open up the pineal gland as much as we want to, but unless if we clean up the dirt, unless if we clean up the shadow, the darkness enough to disentangle us, to remove the shackles, remove the obstacles, remove the limitations, it is not going to really open up. We are not going to really ascend. We need to, and every experience is going to give us another opportunity to clean up these shadows, the programs, the darkness, the negative entity, whatever you would like to describe it, or however you are feeling, experiencing this. It can be multiple things. Every situation is different, so we have to treat every situation differently. And when we try to make a global ascension scenario that our mind, so much 3D mind, so much needs, we are again limiting ourselves into that construct. And when we push within that 3D construct that our mind structured, having all this information from every aspect, we are again like pushing, but the wheel is not turning on its own. It's not going anywhere. Because we are not just the mind, because we are not just the heart, we are not just this, we are not just that, we are a complete system of, infinite aspects, pretty sure. So we know some, like 7 aspects that, like energy bodies and causal bodies and so forth, but I'm pretty sure there are many other aspects that we will discover soon. So, simulation, if we are forcing ourselves to ascend, and when we imagine we are ascending, because it's easy to sit in your meditation cushion and imagine your energy body, and then your energy body moving, and then your energy body doing this, energy body doing that. You may have astral travels if you work on it, or be able to uh, whatever, all those things. Now, it's ascension is a complete unit, complete is a movement of the complete unit. So, and it happens completely naturally, and when we have to allow it, we have to allow it to come from within us. Then, when we are really ready to be able to handle what we see, our pineal gland will open, third eye will open. When we are ready to take in all the darkness and transmute it into light, slowly our heart's divine heart will open, and they will happen on their own. It's like pushing a flower to flower. It will happen on its own. All we need to do is to pay attention to the water, to the sun, to the soil, to the whether the soil has enough nutrients in it or not. So that's exactly what I wanted to say. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit not used to, so basically the real thing, the real ascension, when we are able to completely integrate our 3D and 5D and higher aspects, it will happen. It will happen only when we learn how to flow with the world, learn to flow with it, and then when we allow it to happen. Now, two aspects. We need to learn how to flow with it. It means that we are not forcing anything. We are not trying to, oh yeah, at this point my light body is supposed to turn on. I'm imagining my light body is turned on. No, it's going to happen on its own. So we need to allow it. And instead of trying to imagine your light body coming on, maybe you need to pay attention at your moment, in your now, and see at that moment there is that thought form that says your body is supposed to be turning on right now, light body is supposed to be turning on right now, and trying to simulate that. Go to that thought pattern and stop it from dictating what you're supposed to be doing. All you're supposed to be doing is to flow with it. And then it will happen on its own as you're ready. It's like laying the red carpet. Sweep the floor, have the carpet clean, and then lay it without any wrinkles, without any obstructions. And then when the red carpet is laid, then it will happen. The second thing that we need to really pay attention to is when it happens, we don't resist. And this is a little bit of a problem because that is the only time we are going to meet our self-destruct programs. Our self-destruct programs will or are programmed, are set to make us fall from the steps that we are taking. So, and that's another good thing actually, because they teach us to firmly step on the new level. So, not having the resistance comes from how much we have worked on cleaning it up, and our spiritual sincerity instead of spiritual ego comes from how much cleanup we have done. So all these things, we have to practically always integrate the higher level information, higher level knowledge, do our best to push ourselves, but not ignoring or not faking, because faking is the worst enemy, in my opinion, because it's going to blind you from the truth. It's going to make you put you into the false light matrix. You're going to think you're ascended, you're all set and done, and next time something happens, you get triggered 100%. But if you're not faking, if you're understanding, if you're going in, if you're using your now to go with the flow and see what darkness comes up, transforming them, what lights comes up, adopting it, assimilating it, accommodating your system to integrate it, then it is going to you're going to be able to, for example, when you see something in the 3D world, you're going to see something that would normally trigger you. You're not going to get triggered. And everything, you're not going to get triggered, maybe like not 100%, maybe 90%, 80%, 70%. And every time, like 30%, it means like 30% you have done cleaning. 70% of the programs, the conditionings, and the, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, darkness, and they remain. So you work, and then next time is 50%, and 20%, and 10%. And one time, it will be practically almost nothing, because we will be completely able to integrate the 3D and the 5D. And it will not be for one moment like I had when I was walking and talking and having the now moment, still being able to have a perfect conversation. I was completely 3D and completely 5D. But it lasted only 1 minute. And that's okay. But if I insist that I'm going to have that and pretend and push, it's not going to happen, because I'm not ready. To be ready, I just have to, clean up and ready to accept when it happens, that it's happening, and I don't have that other ego that says, the other judgment that says, oh, I'm not ready yet. This cannot be happening to me. So, let's go back to the 3D, 3D me. No, this time I accept. Take a deep breath, and I say, yeah, it's happening. I'm having this perfect now moment, and I'm able to function in the 3D. I'll let it infuse my being as long as it lasts, and then when I fall out of it, it's okay. I'm making one more step. It's one more step. I'm not pushing it, I'm not simulating it, I'm just going with it. Sorry, guys. Okay, so one thing is we trying to ascend, we are conjuring things, the knowledge, the know-how of the path of ascension. And the other thing is the ascension coming to us. And when I do this, I'm including actually both the divine intervention and also the qualitative difference, that when we conjure enough of our capacities and we do enough of our cleaning, there comes that point when there is a qualitative shift which may open the pineal gland, may completely allow us to really ascend, not just bits and pieces. the point is, for us, we have to, I believe, in my opinion, we have to always keep that perspective of preparing, preparing, preparing. Like you're waiting for a guest and you're cleaning your home to invite this guest so that this guest can enjoy it. Or learning the aspects of the vehicle and making little simulations, making little practices to really comprehend the tools that you have. But we have to wait for the thing to happen on its own, so that it is not just a simulation and which feeds into our spiritual ego. It is not our wishful thinking. It really is ascension. And when it comes because we are biologically determined. We are biologically set to ascend when we are ready, just like the pineal gland. The pineal gland is biologically set, no matter whether there is calcification around it or not. I'm pretty sure. It will open up when we are ready. And honestly, with the miracle capacity of our body and our essence, even if there is a ton of calcification around it, I'm pretty sure our bodies will always find a way to decalcify the pineal gland when it's time for it to get triggered and open up. So inside and outside, let's do our best to not stay in our just imaginations. We all know this, but one more time repeating, I guess, it's not, it doesn't hurt. Let's do our best to integrate as much information as we can to be able to really absorb the ascension when the time comes. And that will be our time. That is truly amazing. And we don't have to look at it like an all or none situation, but I'm pretty sure there's a point of all or none at one point in this voyage. But we may have small bits and pieces of realizations which finally will add up into the whole picture, and the whole picture will finally add up into a bigger picture. I love this universe, guys. So so cool. Okay, have a good day, have a blessed day, have a wonderful day. May light and love be with you always in your heart. Thank you, guys. Namaste.